Hello, good afternoon, beautiful people. How are you? Just getting the smudge going here this afternoon, clearing our virtual space and clearing my physical space all at the same time. Also sending this wonderful, beautiful, sacred sage smoke over to you so that you in your space have a little cleansing this afternoon. Welcome to this week's Tuesday Tune-Up. I'm so excited to be here with you. And please do be sure to pop in the chat any questions that you might have as I'm talking, uh, anything that's come up from the past videos. Happy to speak into that as well. Today is all about clearing the sewage from the mind, which I don't know about you. For me, that is a continual process. It is a continual practice that I have, always making sure that what I am thinking, the thoughts that I'm thinking, are truly in alignment for the highest good for all beings in the universe. Tall order, I know. That's why it's a practice. Also, being in the practice of making sure that my thoughts are in the light, and I'm doing whatever it takes to make sure that when I call them the hecklers, when the little hecklers come up and they're chatting in my ear, like, oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you didn't do this right. Oh, you forgot about that. All of the naysaying inner dialogue, when that does come up, that I'm able to shift out of that and get recentered on the thoughts that are for my highest good so that I'm staying in the light. And that's what we're talking about here on Tuesday Tune-Ups. Because when we're in practice and we have our daily rituals or our daily practice, whatever you would like to call them, supporting us in clearing out the sewage of the mind, the negative ego, the chit chat. How often do you get lost in the phone on social media where it's actually a distraction? Or maybe the TV comes on, or you're watching you get in an endless stream of watching videos on YouTube. Is it for your highest good, or is it a distraction? And there's no judgment here, just a question that we get to ask ourselves. Right now in this moment, am I hiding for something? Or is this really serving me on my path of progression? So the reason that the sewage of the mind came up, here I was last week, all of a sudden my toilet wouldn't flush. And then there was a smell. And then, oh my goodness, come to find out, sewage spill in the basement. So that smell got larger and larger and more disgusting. And it was gross. I'm not going to lie, it was pretty gross. So I meet up with my landlord and we go down into the basement. And the place I live is brand new. It's a couple of years old. So there should be no issues with the pipes, no issues with clogging. We both stood there and looked at each other, just completely awestruck of like, how could this even possibly happen in such a newly refurbished 2-apartment house? And this got me to thinking. It got me to pondering the pipes and my own pipes and our pipes of energy, our energy channels, the thoughts that we're thinking each and every day. And are they serving us? Am I in a place where I'm letting my negative ego, my shadow self, run the show? And am I leaking stinky energy off and impacting other people, maybe very subconsciously or consciously? Again, not from a place of judgment, a place of inquiry. What do I get to see that I'm not seeing? What are the thoughts that I am thinking that are running around in there? And how do I get to change those? Or how do I get to let them go? Or how do I get to shift in a moment so that I'm carrying forward and there's no backup and there's no leakage and there's no smelly sewage? So number of ways to do that. And one of my favorite ways is energy healing. I am an energy empowerment coach. I'm a certified health and life coach, and that's my jam. supporting all of you in clearing out the sewage, the stuck energy, that which is no longer serving you in your energy body, as well as the physical body. Because when our physical body is in alignment and optimized for our highest good, then our energy body, our chakras, our etheric field, our aura, that vibration is really high, and vice versa. They work together. And when our energy body and our physical body are working together at a high vibration, the thoughts that we think, our emotional body, are all also of high vibration. It all works together. And if you've been following me for a while or you receive my newsletter, then you know at the end of last year, I was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer. And the entire time that I went through the conversation with doctors and my treatment and going along that path, I would stop and take a moment and check in with my physical body, because I had some sewage in the mind after my first visit with the surgical oncologist who recommended a surgery, a surgical procedure. I walked out of the office and I was like, I'm not doing that. No way. I don't need that. I have all these alternative methods. I have amazing connection with the divine. I have amazing connection with the universe. I can give myself healings. I can go get healings. I know people who've cured cancer in so many different ways. And I was walking around pretty self-righteous about that decision. I'm not doing that. Thinking that I knew what was best. Thinking that I knew what was best. Whew, the mind jumped in there, was like, okay, girl, I'm in control. We're not doing this. We're doing this. We're doing that. We're going to look at your diet. What do you get to clean up? And I just one day had a moment where I was like, oh, time out, girlfriend. Whew, did you ask your body what it needs to heal? So this is what I mean about moving from a place of letting the negative ego or our mind be in control. And for me in that moment was these huge feelings of self-righteousness of like, I know better. I know I'm an energy healer. I'm a health coach. I'm a life coach. I've helped people heal their trauma in their bodies. Wow, was that some self-righteous, egotistical sewage that was coming up for me? So I just dialed it back, told myself it was okay. Unprecedented situation in my life. So my mind jumped in thinking, oh, let me rescue her in this situation and let me tell her what's good for her. And then when I hit the timeout and I went into a deep meditation and I asked my body, what do you want to heal? Very clearly, my body came back and said, remove, go for the surgery and remove the tissue. I want the tissue out. And even in that moment, when I heard it clearly, I still had to say, are you sure? Are you sure? And I'm in touch with my body on a consistent basis. I am in touch with my intuition and asking my body all throughout the day, hey, what do you want to eat? What's most nourishing? Is movement the best for us right now? Should we do some stretching? Whatever it is. And in that moment, my mind and my negative ego were really in the driver's seat, and understandably so. It was a very, very scary, very trying time. And if you've ever been through something like that, then I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I blended a traditional pathway in Western medicine with alternative pathways from my healing journey, which I'm still on. And there was the sewage coming up. So if you have any questions about what I'm talking about, please feel free to put that in the chat, especially if you have something specific. I feel like somebody has something very specific that they want to ask. And if you're shy, don't be shy. Go ahead and put it in there. And if you are shy, it's okay too. You can leave a comment afterwards. But I feel like there's somebody who's going to watch this has something very specific to ask about all of that, about the negative ego and shifting our mindset and whatnot. So the other piece of Tuesday Tune-Up is supporting you in having and embodying your inner wisdom, your inner guidance, your inner intuition, so that you have the ability to make unshakable decisions in your life for your health, for your career, for your business, for your relationships, for your love life, for everything that's going on around you. And the more we're in practice with embodying that wisdom, the easier it is to switch and shift and move. And it becomes a dance and a flow through every moment of every day, getting that intuitive guidance saying, you know, hey, I don't think that phone call is the best to have today at this time. And hearing that 9 times out of 10, when I get that inkling and I reach out to the person and I ask if I can reschedule, 9 times out of 10, they say to me, you know, I was just going to reach out to you and ask if we could reschedule. So, trusting ourselves. And the best way I know how to support you at the beginning portion of embodying your wisdom is through the foundational practice of being in connection with your 5 major senses. I am in this practice all the time. When the sewage came up and the smell came up, I was like, huh, that's a big call from the universe of, hey, pay attention. When something happens in our life that is so extraordinary and out of the ordinary, it's a big yell. It's a big, hey, hey, pay attention. There's a message there. There's a direction being shown. So I dialed back. Okay, what's going on? And it was an invitation for me in that moment, being connection with my sense of smell when I really didn't want to be, I'll be honest, because it was very odorous. And okay, what is this telling me? Have I been ignoring something that if I don't address it right now is going to be like this big leakage and have a smelly, really gross impact on my life? So being in touch with my sense of smell gave me the opportunity to pause and not just look at what happened as, oh, the toilet backed up. Oh my gosh, how could that happen? And get all angry. It was more of like a, okay, well, that's a bummer. And what do I get to do in my life? What is this extraordinary situation teaching me? Because brand new pipes that are 3 years old that are huge. I mean, they're huge. I've been down the basement. No reason should be being blocked up. So that was a very extraordinary situation. And what I found was honestly was an invitation to go deeper into my own shadow self, to go deeper into my practice around my negative ego. And it feels very vulnerable to share that because I am a certified coach and I am an energy healer and I've been doing this for decades. So do I have all the answers and do I have everything figured out? Heck no, I don't. And that's why we coaches also hire coaches to support us in our businesses and in our lives because we don't have it all figured out. We're just further down in the journey than the people that are in our community or working with, or we're right there shoulder to shoulder with you. Or maybe you're a little further ahead in the journey and we're working together. So it's not about being right or wrong or who's more progressed than the other person. It's just where are we at on the journey and what's our role in this beautiful world to support other people on their path of progression. So yeah, been digging into that shadow self of self-righteousness and judgment and anger. And those are all the little teenager that still lives within me. I thought we were good. And there's been some things, and I'm not ignoring the fact that going through and continuing to be on my journey with cancer, of course, that's going to bubble up some really old stuff. So, what a great opportunity for me to take a deep look at myself and share that here with you, because we're in a continual phase of always looking at what's going to serve us, what maybe gets to be healed that hasn't fully healed. Maybe there's a different aspect. And so listening to our wisdom through being really in close connection and in tune with our senses is a great way to do that. So I invite you to go back to smell. I know we talked about the sense of smell already a couple of weeks ago. I invite you to go back to your sense of smell and just see. Maybe you're out for a walk and what you smell are the roses in bloom and the flowers, and that's lifting you up and energizing you. Maybe you're smelling a flower that you haven't smelled on that walk before. So I invite you to be in curiosity this week and to be in deep connection with your sense of smell and see what the deeper meaning is. So if you are smelling the roses and all the beautiful flowers that are in bloom, maybe your sense of smell is saying, great job. You're taking time to smell the roses, which is so important. You're taking time for yourself. Great job. You're outside getting a little movement. So that's it for the share today and the wisdom piece of the Tuesday tune-up. Let's go ahead, unless you have some questions. I'm just going to check the chat here real quick. And you can always leave them. If you're catching this in the replay, please feel free to leave them below or email me at tia@dreamsculptinginstitute.com. I love hearing from you and I love being in conversation with you. So let's go ahead and shift and move into the energy transmission. Very specifically, as soon as you join the live, Reiki energy is already being sent to you. So you may or may not pick up on that. But I do like to do a few minutes of very focused energy transmission time so that I can really tap into what's going on for you and also move through time and space to bring in whatever healing may be needed for somebody who catches this in the future. So if you're able to do so, let's go ahead and have you close your eyes and sit back in your chair, allowing yourself to relax. I'm going to close my eyes too. We're going to start with 3 deep breaths together, allowing us to be centered in this time together, to move into our circle, deeper into our circle together, and moving our physical bodies into a relaxed state. So we'll breathe in as deep as we can through our nose. We will hold at the top, and then we will exhale for a count of 4. So we'll do this 3 times in a row. Let's go ahead and breathe that first breath in again. And hold at the top. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathing in again. And holding. And exhaling for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And breathing in one more time together. And holding. And exhaling for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job. So we'll have a few minutes of quiet unless something comes through that wants to be shared in the moment. And you get to just receive, allow all of this energy to be transmitted to you to support you in going forward in the rest of the week, energized, aligned, and tuned up. Something that is coming up as I'm receiving some guidance here is that when I talk about the negative ego and the shadow self, just a reminder, there's no judgment there. The negative ego and the shadow self were created based upon experiences and stories that we created as young people. When we shine the light on those old stories and those experiences, it supports in healing them, transmuting that energy. So it's really a beautiful practice to lovingly take a look at the shadow self and our negative ego. And when we can look at those aspects of ourselves and be in connection with them, it's much easier to create a shift in our mental state, in our emotional state, in our physical state, because we're in connection and we can sense when it's bubbling up. We can sense when that mind chatter, that sewage, the hecklers are in the driver's seat. And when maybe they've pulled out of the station and they're in a speed train going down the track. You go, whoa, hang on. I'm going to pull the brake here. We're going to clear this out and get this train moving down the track again in a way that's healthier for me and in the light and serving my path of progression. Because as the saying goes, it's not about the destination. It is all about the journey, especially on our path of progression, our ascension journey, which is all about coming into the heart, connecting with the heart. And through there, we are connected with the divine, our higher self, and our inner wisdom. So as we begin to wrap up the energy transmission for today, a question for you. Something that I would love to see your replies, or again, feel free to email me at tia@dreamsculptinginstitute.com. What gets to be seen in your life that you're not seeing? Is there something that maybe you've been ignoring that my share with you today, my story, my experience, is supporting you in identifying so that you can take a look at that? And what is that thing? And what are you going to do about it? So if your eyes are still closed, feel free to slowly and gently open them up so they can adjust to the light of the room. And for those of you here live, if you have any questions or anything you'd like to share, I'm always curious about how your experience was. Feel free to add that into the comment section. And for those of you in the replay, same question. How was your experience today? And what is it that maybe you've been ignoring that gets to be looked at? And what's your next step? What are you going to do about it? I am wishing you a beautiful rest of your day. I am loving you passionately, and I'm so thankful to be here with you every week. I'll see you next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. UK. And let's do this together because it's so much more fun together than it is doing this alone. Mwah.